Okay, my starters. I have with me Koketso Rangongo. Did I say it correctly?
Yes, you did. I'm so happy.
Excellent, excellent. So she's a UJ student, final year UJ student. I must add the final year to make it really interesting that we are dealing with someone who went from a certain level of schooling to the final year. So now they are ready to impart knowledge to the rest of the world. How are you, Koket?
I'm good.
You good?
Thank you for inviting me.
No, no. I always take pleasure in having random conversations that may bring some value to the audience, especially to my starters. Now, with you, I want to start with a banger of a question.
Okay.
What is the biggest challenge that you think you've had to face and then overcome? And how did you overcome it?
Okay, in terms of,
Anything that you deem is like the biggest challenge that you've had to deal with.
to be honest, my biggest challenge was that we started, at my level, we started university during the COVID-19 pandemic. So I had a challenge of learning online, and I like being physical with my lecturers and being able to consult face to face so that I am able to capture concepts. So
Mm.
that was my, looking back, that was my biggest challenge, because looking at the results I got now and prior, it's a huge difference.
There's a huge difference, ne?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you overcome it then?
Oh, to be honest, at that time, I was just unable to. I was just stuck in a loop. So I don't
Mm.
know. Um, COVID-19 ending
A
was me
blessing.
was me actually conquering. If
So if COVID-19 didn't end, what mechanisms were you going to put in place to overcome that challenge?
I think going back to campus, because I realized during COVID I was mostly at home. So going back to campus and actually, I don't know, because at that time there was a distance issue. Yeah.
Mm.
But I'll still have consulted with my lecturers. So yeah, I think that would have been what I
Okay,
would have
so that's
done.
more on a schooling and professional development point of view. From a personal point of view, what's the biggest challenge you'd say you've had to overcome? And where did you source out the strength to overcome it? Or what strategies or mechanisms did you use to overcome those?
To be honest, it's quite a few. Depression,
Mm,
depression.
mm.
Am I really in the right career?
Mm.
Because when you are young and you don't know much, you're not like you don't have access to information in terms of what you want to do from metric. So
Mm.
some of us were not exposed to various types of careers to actually say we want to do this and go for it. So this course, to be
Mm.
honest, I chose it randomly when I was applying. And then I got in. I was like, no, let me see to finish this. But it was very depressing at the beginning because I was facing the pandemic as well as trying to figure out if this is really for me. But to be honest, as time went on, I realized that this career is for me. Like it matches
You
my,
fell in love with it.
yes, and I
Okay.
actually embraced it. I guess that's how
Mm.
I overcame the anxiety, the depression, the sense of lack of direction. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You know, a lot of people use those terms, anxiety, depression. They use them without knowing fully what they encompass, right? And I say that to ask you this: who diagnosed you with depression?
We usually self-diagnose.
So you
Usually,
self-diagnosed and then you termed it depression.
yeah. At that time, it felt that way. It felt like I was overthinking. Um, I don't know how to. describe it.
Mm,
It felt like the world was just crashing down on me because
mm,
I'm a I'm a firstborn at home, so I have to be an example.
mm,
So if you feel like you don't have a sense of direction and you're the oldest, you have to be an example to your siblings. It kind of feels like the world is on your shoulders, you
mm,
know. So
mm,
I don't know. That's why
mm,
because it was a cycle at that point in time.
mm, mm.
So it felt like it wasn't ending, but I overcame
Okay.
eventually.
How did you get out of that state of being?
To be honest, I'm a church girl. At that time, I didn't go to church,
Mm, mm,
and it was always online. But I eventually asked God to take me somewhere where spiritually I'll be fine because I know when you're fine spiritually, everything just seems to come back to its place.
mm,
So
mm.
that as well.
Okay, so it helped balance you out.
Exactly.
Okay. Without that spirituality, you don't think, or do you think you were gonna overcome that state?
To be honest,
Okay.
because I
How do you resonate with that spiritual side of you? Like you have conversations alone with God, you pray. What do you do?
prayer is conversation with God. So
Oh, the pray. Okay,
yes,
my
yes,
bad. So
yes,
prayer in and of itself is your conversation with God.
yes.
So you were having a lot of conversations with God during
Mm-hmm.
that time, and then you went out of your dip.
Um, Prior to that, like to be honest, COVID damaged a lot of things. So
Mm,
couldn't
mm,
go to church, very big spiritually.
mm,
So I felt like without my spiritual life, because I believe that life is spiritual. That's where it all begins. So I I do have a lot of conversations with God.
mm,
You know, I don't
okay.
know how to answer your question.
You can't even picture your life without that
Yeah,
source of strength
yeah.
behind you. Okay, no, I get it. Then where do you think the future is headed for you now?
Oh, there's a
Being
lot.
seeing that you are a final year student.
I have a lot planned out academically.
Mm.
Business wise, I'm thinking of some things.
Okay, don't
Uh,
share. People
I
steal
won't share.
ideas.
I won't share. I won't share.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that are happening for me. Like I'm preparing for a lot, especially going into ComServe.
Mm,
Hopefully, I get a post by January.
mm,
So yeah, there's a lot of ideas. Like I feel like I won't be um, stuck or stagnant. So I because I feel like this pursuing this career gave me like direction as I went on, gave me direction. Oh, this is what you like. This actually suits your personality. This is where we're going. And then ideas came to flow as soon as I opened my arms to what I was doing. So yeah.
okay. So community com service community service.
Oh yes.
So with environmental health, you have to do 1 year compulsory community service for you to be an independent practitioner.
Exactly.
So that's your plan for next year.
Yes.
Then academically,
Going back to study
to do what?
my masters.
Okay, so you're going back to do your master's.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're interested in entrepreneurship as well. You have
Yeah.
a few ideas
Mm-hmm.
bustling in your mind
Of course.
that you wanna go for, which
Mm-hmm.
I'd say go for them.
Yeah.
Then you also want to work like as an employee, or
Yes.
you're gonna venture largely into that entrepreneurial space.
To be honest, I'll start by being an employee.
Okay.
I believe for you to be a great leader, you have to be a follower. So
Mm.
I'll start there, and as time goes on, I'll actually go full time. So
That's
we'll
when
see
you
how.
build it up.
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. No, you're an interesting human being. You've been with us for 3 weeks. How has the experience been? Work
Ah,
integrated learning.
Ekurhuleni is interesting. There's a lot of de- departments,
Mm,
equality and disaster management. Even though I haven't delved deep into
mm,
that, but the experience was nice because I was meeting a lot of new people.
mm,
It was nice working with you guys because you're so friendly.
Okay, you have to say that.
No, I'm not forced. I'm not forced by
Yeah,
anyone.
it's true. You're not forced.
Yeah. What else? Yeah, I really learned a lot. Because we had a backlog.
Mm, mm,
COVID happened and we couldn't do much of work integrated learning, interacting with professionals
mm,
who studied what we studied. So it
mm.
was interesting.
Okay, nice. No, Koketso. You corrected me and said it's not Koketso. Like my daughter's name is Koketso. Yours is Koketso,
Yes.
right? Which means what?
Increment, increasing,
Increasing,
increase.
adding,
Mm-hmm.
an additional. Okay, so being the firstborn, they had to add
A
others
few.
after you.
Yes. Yes, they did.
Okay, nice, nice. Okay, thank you for the opportunity for me to have this conversation with you. Hopefully, someone who may feel that they are depressed at the moment will know that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Exactly.
Hopefully, they won't maybe self diagnose, but they'll seek professional help so that they can get proper assistance in getting out of that dip that they may be in. When it comes to careers, also, people throw in the towel sooner than they should. So, hopefully, through your testimony and your story, they'll be able to understand that, hang on, life actually can turn around in 2, 3 years. Making that decision now may not be the end of the road. So, my starters, I love you, I appreciate you, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Cheers.